We're going to call this meeting to order. Mona, roll call, please.
Commissioner Atwood,
Here.
Commissioner Brady,
Present.
Commissioner Glissman,
Here.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Here.
Commissioner Petrie,
Here.
Mayor Hink.
I entertain a motion to excuse Mayor Hink for tonight.
I make a motion to excuse Mayor Hing from tonight's meeting.
I'll
Second.
Linda. Second. Mayor Hink excused for tonight.
We have all.
Okay, sorry. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And if you would join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. McCarthy?
I would like to make a motion that for this meeting only, discussion of each agenda item remains subject to the 30-minute limit established by Robert's Rules procedures and procedures of the City Commission, and that each commissioner be recognized for no more than 2 speaking turns on each agenda item unless extended by simple majority vote 3-2 of the commission.
We have a second. Linda, or Ms. Glidden. Okay, all in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion passes. Okay. Approval of the July 6th. agenda.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, if I may. I did present to the commission a special event application. If council would like to add it, I guess that's prerogative. But I also did provide the commission with a proposed budget amendment, which would go along with the Clemis item. I would ask that that one be added to the agenda.
Motion carried.
I would like to make a,
Do we need a motion? Excuse me, do we need a motion on that?
I don't.
I guess I'm presenting options.
It can go with the,
doesn't it go when we,
with the agenda.
so this is the approval of the agenda, and I'm trying to make a motion, right? Okay, I make a motion that we approve the agenda with adding item C4 and adding the budget amendment request form and taking off item G. Look at
G4.
G4? Am I looking at this? Yes, and removing G4. So adding C4, adding the budget amendment request form, and taking off G4. That's my motion to approve it.
Just for clarifications, item C4, the Nightmare on Nipissing special
Addition
event
to agenda,
application.
yes.
Thank you.
Linda, or Commissioner Wilson. All in favor of approving the agenda with the addition of C4? Sorry. Oh, discussion.
We're just not interested in discussing G4 at all. I would prefer to see G4 on there, at least for discussion.
I believe we've discussed it multiple times in different meetings, and it's just another reiteration of the same conversation, so I think it's just taking up time in the meeting. I apologize.
Anything else? Mr. Atwood.
Yeah, I actually wrote G4, and I think it adds context to the corrective action or corrective findings in regards to myself from the last meeting.
Any more discussion? So we'll go to vote, we'll do a roll call, Ramona on that one.
One moment,
Sorry.
Ramona. I just had it for clarity and I apologize. My motion was to add C4. My motion, my thing was to add the budget amendment request form that came through
To G2
and to delete you. I just want to make sure I had all of it. I apologize.
and to remove item G4.
Yes.
Your budget amendment is for G2.
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Sanchez, would you just repeat that?
Yep.
Motion?
Approve the agenda for July 6, 2026 with the addition of item C4, special event Nightmare on Nipissing, and the budget amendment to G2 and removing item G4.
And we'll do a roll call.
Commissioner Atwood,
No.
Commissioner Brady.
No.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes,
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes,
Commissioner Petrie.
Yes. We have approval of the minutes. Ramona, do you want us to do these 3 minutes?
You can do them all at once if you'd like.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I do. I move to approve the minutes of the special meeting held June 8th, 2026, and the minutes of the regular meeting held June 15th, 2026, and the minutes of the special meeting held June 25th, 2026.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
1 no.
Did you vote?
I didn't hear. Do you want to do a roll call? Okay, all in favor, once again?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
You're not voting.
Silence gives consent.
Okay. Good. Motion passed. So we are to public comments. Just want to remind everybody, you have 2 opportunities in this meeting, one at the beginning, which is now. You have 3 minutes. I think Mr. Romack, will you please keep track of the minutes? And, when your time is up, the timer will go off, and please sit back down. Please state your name and where you live, and, try and keep it to 3 minutes. Ms. Carson.
Good evening, everybody. I would just like to say prayer, if I may, please.
Would you just tell us your name and?
Geraldine Carson, Lapeer Township. Dear Heavenly Father, you are our strong tower and our peace in the midst of the storm. You alone can calm our anxious thoughts and renew our weary souls. Let your peace prevail in every area of our lives and this meeting, and keep our minds steadfast upon your word, as stated in Psalm 19, 165. Great peace have those who love your law, and nothing cause them to stumble. May your peace settle upon every life and home. Let it silence fear, steady our steps, and anchor us into your truth. And may America find rest under the shadow of your wing as we acknowledge you as our truth, source of strength and peace. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the striped shirt.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about that striped shirt or this striped shirt, because I thought John started to stand up. I thought, oh, long striped shirt.
I'm Leslie Getz. I live in Mayfield Township. I do occasionally comment here when it's something that I feel is appropriate to my issues or something to do with Mayfield Township, but I don't normally comment on city business because I don't live here unless it, has something to do with my participation. So, but I do follow the happenings here because I hope to be your next state representative. It's important for me to understand the issues that are important to the people of Lapeer, and so I do follow. I listen to people, I research issues, and if you're a representative in Lansing, I will work with others to find solutions that are going to work for everyone. So I would ask for your support in August and in November, and Chair Petrie, may I approach?
Yes.
Just have some information to share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. You know how brutal it can be.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Karen Borshako, I live in Metamora, so I feel like there are two things missing from your agenda today. One of them is you all received a letter from the Freedom for Religion Foundation. You received that actually the day of the last regular meeting, June 15th. That's something you need to discuss. Maybe it's going to be in the attorney report, but they had some very strong things to say about the way that some folks up here have been using religion improperly from the government dais. The other thing is, I think someone up here all of you need to censure Mayor Hing. I sent you all an email. Nobody responded, even though you promised you'd always respond, even though I've sent you, I think, 3 emails total, maybe more, and you've never responded to a single one, but you said you always do respond. Anyway, what that is about is that Mayor Hing, on his campaign website, placed all of the evals for Mr. Womack here, the city manager, and employees' evals he placed up there. Now, I get that not everybody went to school, graduate school especially, for the handling of documents and written communication like I did. The minute I heard that, I had all these alarm bells going off in my head, and so I looked up some things, and I was exactly right with my feelings. What he did was grossly unethical. You do not get to take government documents and put them on your campaign website, particularly before the actual evaluation has even happened. That was completely wrong of him to do. He's doing it for personal gain, political gain. He drove up traffic to his personal campaign website. That was really improper because those documents should be available to the public by FOIA, by official channels. I actually got the official versions because I don't trust what Mayor Hing does. I'm not going to trust what he puts on his website. They're open to tampering when they're on his website. What is his website security? Did he change anything that went up there? Did his website host, anyone who with access to it, change something that went up there? We don't know. I got the official copies of those. So now those are the ones that I will review. So what he did was wrong on so many levels. But Mr. Confidentiality, Mayor Hing here, Mr. Cloak and Dagger with the Bodman stuff, right? The 2 Bodman Manors. He doxed at least 3 people who put in complaints to this city. He put their names were in there, and he published them up there, and now we know who made those complaints. You could easily connect it to one of the emails that was included in his exhibits. That was completely wrong. Completely wrong, and you all need to act to tell him that was so inappropriate. Completely inappropriate, and if you don't understand why it's unethical, do some research. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Kopnick, Oregon Township. I just want to add to that last statement. Mr. Hing put stuff out. At the previous meeting, I said that I had heard it was out there, didn't know where it was at, didn't know whether anything was true or not. I read what was posted. And Mr. Hing has made a big deal about preserving the record. And in those evaluations, there were a lot of statements about Mr. Womack's conduct with the public. And I think what the public needs to know And again, I have not had the time to backtrack to find out if it's true. But I've been told that one of the people that complained about Mr. Womack's conduct and his attitude is in fact Jeremy's aunt. Now, not only do I think that that is an act of a pissant, but a dilatory dinghole, okay? That is pitiful to do that to somebody. Mr. Womack, I will say this to you. The staff in this building has been nothing but courteous, polite, and helpful whenever I have asked anything. Your staff is worried about you. They care about you. The other two people on the board that have been beaten, degraded, called liars more times than I can count. And I don't think you've ever lied. I think you've raised issues, but I don't think you've lied in the process of it. I still hope you guys will stand there and take it and face it down. For all you people that think I walk in such darkness and evil, just know this. I'm the guy that argued with a physics professor and argued that your soul exists and there's a progression of the soul. You don't know what goes on in my head. You don't know what I believe. It's just you want to preach to me. And then when you get called out on it by a group, Mayor Hain wants to break into Spanish and preach. They also are aware of that. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Anybody else?
It's public information. I FOIA'd the evaluation some time ago. And to the last speaker, talking about Mr. Womack and his staff, I also FOIA'd the departing employees' comments and one of the questions here is, were you comfortable talking to your manager about work problems, issues? If not, please explain why. And it says, no, I was afraid the city manager was going to twist anything I said and write me up, causing me to get fired before my retirement. So apparently, not all the employees were crazy about Mr. Womack. I would also like to state, Mr. Brady and Mr. Atwood voting no on 2 comments. You're trying to drag this meeting out as long as possible. You're not here to serve Mr. Womack. I know it's your friend, but you were put in this position by the voters, and you're supposed to do the city's business, not run interference for him, not drag the meetings out forever, and then blame somebody else. Also, I would like to say, I did a report on all the voting since 10/20/23, and Mr. Atwood, you always vote yes. You voted no twice, and one time you voted no was when Graham's wanted to have a grand opening, and they were going to have a petting zoo and the bouncy houses and all that, and you wanted that to go forward. And to me, that's shocking. You have 2 little girls. I know you'd never bring your little girls to something like that, but you wanted to please Mr. Womack so much, you were willing to go along with that, and I think that's disgraceful. If I didn't say it, John DeAngelis, Metamora Township. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm Brian Klutier. I actually live in the city of Lapeer. I don't really care what some political hack job from Metamora has to say. I care what the people of this city have to say. I mean, you can gavel me. I don't really care. I'm just fed up with everybody's dialogue that's going back and forth. I'm fed up. I've said it before. I've heard enough. I'm sick and tired, and I'm embarrassed for the city. I'm embarrassed because we're like the laughingstock of the state. And I see this commentary stuff that is out there, and I go, how can I continue to live in a city that is experiencing this kind of neglect? I mean, seriously. And so when I say I really don't care what a political hack job has to say from outside of the city, I mean it. I want to hear people who live in this city. I want them in this room. I want to hear their voice. I don't care what he has to say. I don't. So it's time that if people are fed up with this city, then they need to come to this meeting in this room and voice their opinion as a city resident. I'm done with this other crap.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
Heidi Helfer, Lapeer. One of the topics that came up at the previous meeting was the idea of theatrics, which is defined as behavior that is intended to get attention or that is intended to impress or show off. Some of us were, and have been, accused of this because of our means of communication have been more creative and not limited by the constraints of tradition. I and others feel this is necessary to bring attention to the corruption of this commission that not everyone may be aware of. A specific speaker who brought up the use of theatrics was particularly notable to me because I've had firsthand experience with their using theatrics in an attempt to discredit the group Fight for the First. I'm identifying this person only because I was there to witness what happened. In the comment time at the Lapeer Township meeting on October 13th of last year, Ms. Brodsky, who the board chose to represent them on the library board, decided to use theatrics to try and scare people into believing a certain book that is intended for young adults could be accessed by young children. At one point, she repeatedly shoved a picture she thought was vulgar into the camera that was recording the meeting. And she continued to do this despite the board telling her to turn around and speak to them. The video of her performance is online. My point in bringing this up is to show the hypocrisy, meaning behavior that contradicts what one claims to believe or feel, that has become so evident at these meetings, from both the mayor, commissioners, and members of the public. Returning to the idea of theatrics, some board members, along with the mayor, have complained that this with hypocrisy sometimes combined this with hypocrisy, sometimes commenting that they view this as an inappropriate method to make a point. Therefore, I'd like to take a moment to go through examples from the board. One of the most prevalent examples of theatrics is the frequent banging of the gavel by the mayor, which he seems to enjoy. Another example, the mayor and board majority ganging up on Mr. Atwood and Mr. Brady. They are doing this to try and show that they, Mr. Atwood and Brady, are the problem rather than those who are doing the bullying. Also, board members have been guilty upon several occasions of grandstanding by arrogantly asserting that those who have overtly spoken out against them are people who are unhappy with themselves, deflecting from the fact that the public has good reason to be angry at the mayor and board majority. Next, Ms. Petrie is fond of referencing the Bible, as if by doing so, this automatically makes her a good person. She particularly favors the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. If that's the case, her behavior indicates that she wants to be treated in a very disrespectful manner. And specifically for Mr. Haynes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Back in the back.
Hello, my name is Yana Yakupchik. I live here in Lapeer. This is my second time addressing. The first time I came with an idea of painting a mural on the sidewalk to prevent speeding. I didn't hear back from that, and that was okay. My heart's pumping right now.
Take a deep breath. We're just all people here.
Yep.
Wanting to hear what you have to say.
I come in peace. I don't want anything. I chose to live here. I could have lived anywhere, and I chose to live here because it reminded me so much of my town of Cranberry, where I grew up. Cranberry, New Jersey, that was established in 1600, I think. A little bit later, in 18. George Washington stayed at the Cranberry Inn. So coming here and seeing the courthouse, 1846, I felt like there's history here, there's bones, and there's a mix of people. I know that it's a mix politically, and I don't care. I'm not even for anything political. I'm an artist, and I just care for my community and care for how things are operating. And I am a survivor of sexual abuse, and I have been homeless. So when I see people, I see them. And I saw a man that was homeless on Sunday saying that there was nothing available to eat on Sundays because everything's closed. And I looked in, the refuge center was closed, and then the church was closed, and pretty much the only thing that was open was Wood Chips. So I got him lunch from Wood Chips, and it cost me $17. And I'm an artist, so I don't make that much money, but I chose to spend it because I knew that might have been his only calories for the day. So I'm here standing right now because I've been hearing all of this through TikTok. It's an embarrassment that I've been seeing my home being talked to this way. I just want you to all remember who you're serving. The logo right there has the spire from the mental hospital. And I know in the courthouse, we, in Lapeer, worked to save the people who were not being allowed to reproduce. I think there was something that was unconstitutional. It's on the plaque there. If you read it, that's why I'm standing here, because I read that, and I just know that Lapeer can care for its citizens, does care for its citizens, and right now we're just kind of confused by fighting with each other. Thank you.
Thank you. You did great, by the way. Anybody else?
My name's Mitchell Rock. I don't live in Lapeer. I live in Richfield Township. I'm here because of an issue that's very at home with me right now, because I spent Father's Day visiting my daughter in the hospital because she tried to attempt to alive herself. So I just have been debating this for quite a while to come up here about it, but I've heard commissioners say they're going to shoot themselves or shoot other people. And with the amount of suicide attempts and actual people that do go through with that, that is a big issue with me. A very big issue. And I think the person that's saying that stuff should take accountability, because everybody hears it. My daughter heard it before she tried to take her own life. When you guys are up there whispering to each other, you're in front of a microphone and we can hear you. Everybody can hear you. Everybody on the internet can hear you, whether you're whispering or not. And it is a serious matter. Across Michigan, across the United States, across the whole world, people are killing themselves. And to threaten to kill other people too. We have zero tolerance in our schools about this issue. But yet, here amongst adults, you don't have a zero tolerance rule. It needs to be addressed. I don't know really what else to say. I had a bunch of stuff, but I'm shaken because I'm upset, I'm hurt. And it is serious. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? Move on. Okay, so we have the consent agenda. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner Guzman,
I move to approve the consent agenda for July 6, 2026.
Support.
moved by Commissioner Guzman, seconded by Commissioner Atwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Bill listing.
I move to approve the bill listing for July 6, 2026, in the amount of $1,988,187.80.
We have a second.
Second.
Mr. McCarthy. All in favor? Oh, roll call, sorry.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
Okay, next we're on to proclamations, and Ms. Soldonsky isn't here tonight. We are wishing her well on her retirement, so I'm not gonna read her proclamation, but I'm gonna say personally, I'm beyond grateful for all that she's given to our city. She's been here for more than 21 years. Her last day is July 14th, so if there's anybody that still wants to contact her and tell her congratulations and to enjoy her retirement, she will still be here till July 14th. So thank you so much, Denise, if you're listening somewhere out there. Thank you so much. And we are,
Mayor Pro Tem.
oh yeah, we gotta.
I make a motion to approve, to adopt the proclamation in recognition of Denise Soldnesky as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Denise. And we are on to G1, first reading of an ordinance amendment.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, if I may just briefly. So, I know that you and I have talked about the language that we use for these motions. It looks like this one got through the cracks. Moving forward, this has been my intention, that we're not adopting an ordinance on a first reading. We're simply completing a first reading, because the actual adoption of the ordinance doesn't occur until the second reading, which of course I know the board knows, but to make it more easily understood by the public, that's the intention, and I apologize for this language not reflecting that.
So do you want to change the word approve to adopt, or this isn't really the approval on our first one, it's our.
Yeah, I guess you could just change it to adopt the first reading of ordinance 2026-5.
I think
No, it says adopt ordinance 26-5.
It says approve.
Rezoning, blah, 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 on first reading.
Yeah, it's not the language I prefer.
Okay, because the packet actually says approve and then this says adopt, so what do you want?
Well,
What are
approve,
we, what do you
approve,
want to
yeah,
change
approve
it
or
to?
adopt is fine. That's not the word that's an issue. I'm just saying, I don't like saying adopt the ordinance, because we're not adopting it. We're adopting the first reading of, or approving of the first reading of.
So Ms. Sanchez, could you just tell us how it should be written or read?
I'll read it out. That's-
How about approve the first reading of ordinance 2026-5, rezoning of 822 West Street,
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
West Street, L 2133-306-040-00, from OS 1 office service to B2 general business.
Minus on first reading.
Yeah, I'm deleting that one now. And schedule the second reading for July 20th, 2026.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
It's great.
So moved.
Ms. Sanchez, should we do a roll call on that ordinance? Reading?
Oh, we can?
Oh, sorry,
we have any
we have
comments?
discussion, sorry. Go ahead.
I just have a couple questions. The first thing is that when I read through it, it had a unanimous, planning commission vote. Everybody voted yes, that's great. But then it went through and it itemized all these issues. And it gave 5 different requirements. First was the number of parking spaces required was 9.9, and this facility gives 4. The minimum setback was 30 feet, and this facility, or this would give 7.2 feet. It required 8 stacked spaces wherever there was a window, and this gives 5 feet. The curb cut was supposed to be 1 for every 100 feet, and this gives 2 for 103.94 feet. And it was supposed to be a 60-foot setback for right-of-way, which is not shown in the concept plan. So my question is, the staff found the request meets standard 1, which was in compliance or a mistake, versus standard 2, which was cannot reasonably be used as currently zoned. I just want to question that all 5 requirements it didn't meet, but it got unanimous approval, and that's fine. I was just hoping that either the city manager, Mayor Hing is not here, perhaps Atwood could just explain it, because in the paperwork, it didn't meet any of the 5 requirements, and since I was on zoning, that kind of seemed a red flag for me when that happened. That's it. Thank you.
If I may. Thank you. So the 5 requirements that you're talking about, I think were direction being given to the applicant for what they should expect as part of a site plan review. We're talking about a rezoning request only, which the planning commission determined that they did meet those requirements. But we didn't want the applicant to think that their proposed conceptual site plan was going to be approved of as presented. So we gave them a short list of the things that we had already identified as problematic. But this is not the appropriate time to deal with those issues. That will be dealt with by the planning commission at a future hearing.
I have a question, Mr. Womack, what are they wanting to go there?
I believe it's a Big B coffee.
But until we get the site plan and everything, we don't for
So-
sure know that.
So that's a great point. So when the board chooses to rezone a piece of property, the current practice is not to do that contingent upon any particular use. So this is what, B2? Yeah. So any use that is a B2 could go there after this point. And it's important to understand because when I reviewed the preliminary site plan, I think there's a lot of issues there that I don't know if it can be resolved. So if this happens, if we rezone it, and then we get to the site plan review for the Big B and they cannot meet those requirements, then there may have to be some other permissible use. But the current proposed use is as a Big B coffee drive-through.
Mr. Gray.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think our master plan has the future land use of this as a B2. So it's in compliance with what our future land use map.
Yep, that's my understanding as well, and that's why the planning commission made the recommendation that they did.
One more question. Did they plan on having a drive-through and will they need a special land use for that?
So I believe that this is not a full-size store. I believe this is a drive-through only. I would almost call it a shack, honestly. And I don't know if there's special land use, Mr. Atwood, do you know if special land use is required for a drive-through?
Off the top of my head, I do, I'm sorry. Off the top of my head, I do believe that all drive-throughs are special.
I think so too.
I could be mistaken.
So is that something that they'll have to bring back in their site plan, then? Request a special land use?
Yes.
Any more discussion? Ready to vote? We do roll call, please, Ms. Sanchez.
Commissioner Glistman.
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy.
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie.
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. Then we are on to G2. Approve the Clemens participation agreement and authorize the city manager and police chief to sign on behalf of the city of Lapeer and approve the budget amendment as presented.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. McCarthy. Well, you seconded, so you go first.
Oh, Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just reading through the contract and I'm just saying this is what it says, okay? Cause I highlight all these things. And it basically says in item 6, C2, authority makes no warranties the service will meet public agencies' requirements. That the service will be uninterrupted, timely, secure, or error-free. That the results would be accurate and reliable. It says on C6C3, public agency solely responsible for any damage to its data system, meaning I believe that we are, for any downloading. So if we download, something happens. And then 6.6, city, well, I'm not even gonna go to that one because you already explained it. And then, and so it just had those statements in there, kind of a lot of disclaimers, which kind of is like, wow, we're buying a pig in a poke because it's not, if they don't want to promise they're going to do any of the things in that statement. And I was just wondering any feedback on that subject, because they did actually put it into the verbiage of the contract itself that we would sign, a lot of disclaimers. I don't know who would answer that. I'm just stating that it did say it.
I'll start if I'm right. So Clemens has been around since the 60s. I'm assuming that the contract with Oakland County Clemens was nearly identical to that language, and I would guess that most IT type contracts would also be nearly identical to that type of language. They simply can't be responsible for errors. I mean, computers have errors, and that's just the way it is. But I have found, I'm sure Mr. Chief Howley also agrees with this, Clemens to be an invaluable part of law enforcement, and we simply cannot do without it. Really what's happening here is Oakland County spinning off Clemens to its own independent authority. And Mr. Francis, I'm not sure if you had a chance to cross compare the contracts, but my assumption is that's almost identical to the contract we've already signed.
Sorry. I did not with respect to the city of Lapeer. I've reviewed for other municipalities this agreement with, compared to prior agreements, they're virtually the same. My response was gonna be, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of option, with respect to using Clemens or not using Clemens. I don't know what, frankly, the chief would do if he told him he couldn't use Clemens tomorrow. There's not a whole lot of alternatives, but I would let the chief speak for any issue with that.
Right. So for Clemens, we've probably been using Clemens for 15, 16 years at the county level. Every police department has it in the county. Central Dispatch uses it. That's how we get our calls in our computer system. If we would be like the only one not using it, when it wouldn't, I don't even know how it would operate like that. They've been a great company for us. I've actually sat on an authority board for them years ago. Really good relationship with them. We had an issue, they were fantastic on getting it resolved, so it's always been a very good product for us.
Anybody else have any questions? So you go by the number of officers, the cost goes by the number of officers that we have and, vehicles or police cars that are included in, or just officers?
So there's two versions of it. So there is the user fee, and then we have the MPCs, which are our computers in our vehicles. So the way Clemens charges is per vehicle that has the computer, has that program in the computer.
Can I ask you, do they all have it in the
Yes.
vehicle? Okay. So this year, our approximate cost, I'm gonna say approximate, was close to 25,000.
Mhm.
How much does that increase every year? Do you know? Sorry.
So,
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, that's fine.
The annual cost to the city is actually $18,300 per year. And I didn't look at each year, but it seems like they were not years 2 through 5. They don't have an increase on the fee schedule that they presented. So unless I was missing something there.
No, and matter of fact, I looked up 2024's numbers, and I think they were like $200 more different for the membership for the 19 users. So I'm sure it has. I think everything has.
Yeah.
So I think it's been pretty minimal. So it hasn't took that big jump where we got sticker shock. The thing that changed this year for why we need the budget amendment was the central dispatch has historically always paid for the MDC in the vehicles. This year they changed that. I think they were operating on the millage. I think that millage money's starting to get less. And they put all that cost onto all the police departments all over the county. So everybody's paying now for their own MDC charge, so.
And so this is not a simple renewal, this is a whole new contract because they became their own entity, so.
Correct.
And I heard you speak, Mr. Francis, that you've looked at everybody else's contract and it's similar to ours, and so you've reviewed it and you're good with.
The agreement that you're being asked to propose is what I would call a form agreement that Clemis is requiring all its participants to agree to. I've reviewed it with respect to prior contracts before they created this authority. It's similar. Yeah.
Okay. And so it will renew every fall, every year. I mean, it's 1 year at a time.
Correct.
Okay.
October 1st. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Commissioner McCarthy.
Yes, so we were handed at a G2 amendment, it's for 13.3. But if you look at the pages, it's probably 3 or 4 pages in from, say, 1, 2, 3, and it's on this page, it gives us the pricing.
Right.
And it shows that we are on the third item, MDC wireless with card for $10,341. I just want everyone to, and I'm totally with it, I'm like a grand, okay? So that shows 10,341, this shows 13,3, and that's because they're anticipating another car to come into the fleet. So those two numbers do not match. They are $3,000 additional, but that's the cost per car. So that's why they have that growth built into this contract.
So can I just ask Ms. Hannah, so what are we paying this year? Since we're absorbing 911's portion, what are we approving to pay clients?
$18,316, I do believe, is the exact amount that the city will pay for fiscal year 26-27.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So we have a first and a second, we discussed, anybody else have anything else? Ready to vote? Josh? Or
Yes.
Mr. Atwood?
Does this motion include both the budget amendment and should we do it that, is that the way you like it?
Yes. Okay. Ms. Sanchez, can you just repeat it so everybody knows what we're?
Approve the Clemens participation agreement, authorize the city manager and police chief to sign on behalf of the city of Lapeer, and approve the budget amendment as presented.
Roll call.
Commissioner McCarthy?
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie?
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman?
Yes.
Motion passes. We're gonna go on to G3, the assessment administration services contract modification.
I move to approve a modification to the 3-year contract with Assessment Administration Services LLC for assessing services starting July 1st, 2026, as presented, and authorize the city manager to sign all necessary documents.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
I only have one, I'm sorry, I did this. I only have one in here, and it says that this is not intended for a long-term outsource of services, because I think we used to have it internally. But this contract, I believe, is for 3 years, which to me is a long time. So I'm just asking for clarity on that statement that's in the package that's supposed to explain this contract for 3 years.
Thank you. I reviewed this, I actually made a significant number of revisions, but under termination, we provided a 30-day termination window for any or no reason. We carved out that the contractor can't terminate during board of review periods. That was at the request of the assessing department. But it is a 3-year period, but it's terminable upon 30 days notice.
Minus January through.
Well, and that's only for the contractor.
We can.
We can, correct.
Do you have anything else, Commissioner McCarthy? I do. How often will they have a human in our office?
The assessor will be in 1 day a week, and the deputy assessor will be in 2 days a week.
And how long has Mr. Mayor been gone now? Like, done?
He's been gone less than a month, a few weeks.
Down at the bottom of this memo, it says, well, in the middle of it, it says that we, looked for a replacement and felt that this was the, financial efficient way to do this. But it says the staff does not believe it'd be beneficial to bid for the deputy assessor, and I'm wondering, do we need to offer more money? I just have read many pros to this, but also many cons. Giving up local assessing positions. So are we going to continue to look, or are we just for 3 years not even gonna look for a deputy assessor or an assessor?
Well, I think for the time being that we are going to move forward with this contract. So we have advertised for the positions and we were unsuccessful in obtaining a candidate. So at this time, I feel that this is in the best interest of the city to move forward so that there's not a lapse in service to the residents of the city in assessing services. This is a very important department that is underneath the finance department. So I actually supervise the contractor as well as the deputy, and I work very closely with this firm that is handling the contract. Anytime they're in the office, I'm talking to them, I know what's going on. So for the time being, this is what I feel is the only solution for the city to move forward and not have any lapse in service.
Can I ask, Mr. Oleg, were we, or Ms. Hannah, were we competitive, in our
Yes.
salary?
So, of course, Ms. Hannah, Ms. Bowman, and myself all talked about this at length. We interviewed a number of candidates. The way we set proposed salaries, we actually talked to the assessor, the contract assessor, to get their opinion about what is an appropriate wage scale for this type of position. And I don't think it's about the dollars and cents at this point. I think it's just lack of candidates. This is not a field that a lot of people go into. And it is kind of an arduous journey to get the appropriate licensure. And, you know, right now we're at the position where candidates are being poached by other communities, you know, in a bidding war type of situation. I think Ms. Hannah did an excellent job getting this company to come work for us, and I think we've been very lucky in that regard.
So, in answer to my question, will we be still trying to find somebody that would want?
In the future, absolutely. It is my intent to have a full-time assessing staff. It was never my intent to outsource this department. It was the plan that the deputy assessor that we had would be mentored by this company to become the permanent full-time city assessor. So that's always been my end goal for the city. So we will, in the future, we will look down that path to definitely have a full-time person in the office. I don't know when this will be evaluated. I think for right now, we will give this some time. I don't think it's in our best interest to sign an agreement and then turn around next month and post the position.
So the assessor will be here 1 day a week and the deputy 2 days, so we will have someone in there 3 days a week. They're not gonna crisscross.
They will probably be working together one day. So the office would be staffed. My staff is cross-trained, to help, anyone that comes in the office, take the forms, make sure, everything is handled, and so that if there's something that was urgent, the assessor has returned phone calls when they're not in the office. They have remote access. So they are available when they are not here.
Thank you. McCarthy, sorry.
I have a quick question, if I could also just address this out. Is this a possibility where we could find someone within our rank and file of the municipality who'd be interested in being trained for this, and we invest in them so that they become this? I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying as soon as we sign the contract, but maybe long-term, this is an opportunity for someone to grow within the city and take on more responsibility and maybe get some certifications under their belt, et cetera, so they grow in their career. Is that something that we consider at the city? I'm not sure, just asking.
If an employee was interested in that, that was our original goal with the deputy assessor for that exact purpose. To have a great mentor that, would be able to take over this position for the city. So that opportunity definitely exists if an employee had that interest.
Thank you.
And I'm just gonna voice my concern is that we've lost recently this past year, and year before, some very long-term employees with much history in our procedures and processes, and that is hard for our community to absorb someone that doesn't know our community. So I'm rallying to find somebody or somebody from within, so just felt like I needed to voice that. We ready to vote? Ms. Sanchez, could you do roll call, please?
Yes.
Oh, wait, one more question, I'm sorry. This says July 1st, so this is July 6th, so were we without a contract for 5 days? This, the contract says July 1st.
Correct.
Okay.
It would be effective July 1st. They will be, again, we have an immediate need here, so
Right.
they will be starting as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy.
Yes. Okay, and we are to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem. So I apologize, Ms. McCarthy. Sometimes the board asks me to do things and it takes some time. I actually do have quite a lot of work to do. So Commissioner McCarthy did previously ask me to put together an RFP for city attorney services. So that's what I've presented to you. And of course, I understand, Ms. McCarthy, your desire and intention, and of course, your history, knowing the work that's been done previously with the city. My concern is, of course, that Fletcher Falco and Mr. Francis have provided excellent service to the city, and at very reasonable prices. My concern would be that for various reasons, if we were to proceed with this RFQ, not only would we stand the chance of losing Mr. Francis's services, but that he may find himself busy with other work that he has and may not even submit an RFP. So those are my concerns. Thank you.
Commissioner McCarthy.
I just want to say two different issues. First of all, I have no problem with doing this with Francis. My point was that it's a due diligence of the city commission that we need. We only are responsible for 2 contracts, really. We approve a lot of things, but the city attorney
and the city manager, those are our two really. And so I'm just saying as due diligence, we have to look at that on a regular every 3 to 5 years. And so that was where my request started. My second issue, and thank you, Mr. Francis, for your emails, because we have been going back and forth, and so has the manager. I would not propose at this time, nor would I support us going to an RFP until we have all the information that I've requested. And they're looking for it, the city is looking for it. And then I would hope that we would have a period of time that we could share that to all the city commissioners, everyone on this dais, so that they're understanding what is the scope, what are the services that are provided, et cetera. And so there could be that dialogue and then the decision to move forward with it. But until we have those different documents that I've asked for, and I know Ramona's working for it, working through it. I may even have to go dig through some old archive files in a hard metal box in Metamora. We don't have the documents to really make a sound decision on how to move forward. And so I would suggest that we probably hold this off until those documents are secured and everybody has at least 30 to 60 days on this dais to look at them and have a dialogue. And then consider if that's what we're gonna do as we move forward. That's just my opinion, I'm only one. That sounds very reasonable to me. Does anybody else have anything? I have one question, Mr. Francis. When we are approving or not approving something that goes through your hands and your review, how do we as commissioners know, without having to say, Mr. Francis, did you review that? Do you initial anything or stamp anything or like visually for us as commissioners, how do we verify, yep, he's looked at it, we're good?
No, I don't visually stamp. There would be no way for you to know aside from asking me. There's no seal. I exchange emails with Mr. Womack or Chief Howe or however it might come to my attention when something's presented to me. But aside from asking, no, there's no visual way or readily apparent way to know.
Is that something you do with any other municipalities? Do they request that there a seal or initials or a signature saying?
No.
Reviewed it?
No. So well, there are certain contracts that require city approval. For example, the one off the top of my head, a lot of MDOT requirements require city attorney approval. But unless, I would say that that would be the exception to the rule. So most times, no.
Okay, so we just verbally ask you.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's not to say that you can't institute a process. I'm just saying most times that's not the way that we do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Womack, anything else?
No, thank you.
I have a question during this manager's time for you, Mr. Womack. I received an email late today regarding the Optimist having their beer tent and their chicken barbecue on the other side of the park. But we didn't, as far as I know, we did not do an SDA for them, and we usually do. And so I'm just wondering why we're not doing a special event application, and I do have some concerns about it being on the other side of the river and having alcohol be down where the rides are with kids. And isn't Anrick Park filled with campers usually, or RVs? So I'm just trying to get, like, I understand that you said in your email that the chamber's fine with that, but what about Chief Howe and us as a commission?
Sure, so I'll be able to address that, thank you. So the Optimist Beer Tent is part of the Lapeer Days event, which was approved of by this board. Now, after that approval came through, staff identified some issues with the map not coinciding with the reality of parking lot number 5 anymore. And of course, knowing that the parking lot behind the businesses in Nipissing would be tore up and we weren't 100% sure if they'd be done, I worked with the Optimists, the Parks Department, Chief Howe, et cetera, to identify an appropriate location for their beer tent to go to. So we met on site with members from the Optimist Club and the aforementioned staff. We talked about all the issues. Everybody came to an agreement that that was an appropriate location. I then texted the city commission members, I believe, April 15th.
I couldn't find that, so couldn't refer to it, sorry.
I also emailed both yourself and Mayor Hing, asking your policy direction on whether that type of change required city commission approval, and I never heard back.
I did respond to you because I feel nervous about it, just because alcohol is moving out of our social district. And
Did you respond to that back in April?
I don't remember the time frame, but I haven't, so.
So, I'm not opposed, it's a commission policy on special events. I guess we were operating under the assumption that the council had given their stamp of approval and that the staff were working administratively to identify a solution. I have no problems with bringing that back to the board as a item to be approved. And I don't know the MLCC requirements like Chief Howe does, they would be required to meet those requirements. Chief, how's that?
Correct, yes, absolutely.
So I guess we'll proceed however the commission would like. We can bring that back for your guys' approval, or we can proceed administratively as I've been doing.
So can somebody, Rodney, Chief Howe, somebody explain how that is going to be effective? It's their biggest fundraiser, and sharing Antelope Park with all the campers, kids, liquor, or not liquor, but beer and wine being over there, how that, we're moving our social district, and we just had a special meeting for the Legion to do it, so I just am concerned, mostly about kids being,
Are you
over
looking
there
for,
with rides and everything being over there. I just wondering, the parking lot is done now, so I'm wondering, why are we not just gonna go ahead with the normal way that they do it?
if I could ask Mr. Church, he serves both the city and liaisons with the Optimist Club. Church?
Yeah, so Optimist Club and the city, we investigate a lot of different locations and, just, we had to move it this year due to the parking lot project. And the layout of the parking lot is different, as well as the tents will be able to be set up out there due to a new parking lot. And it was determined with DPW that it wouldn't be a good idea to place it in that parking lot this year. So we said, okay, we were researching other locations and there was kind of a consensus between the staff and the Optimists and the chamber that the park would be best for that. The carnival's changing a little bit. There'll be no public parking in that parking lot, so we don't have to worry about traffic in and out. The carnival workers will have the RVs, but they'll be strictly on the east side of the park. And majority of the rides will be in the parking lot still. Just some of the games and things like that will be on the south side of the river. So there won't be a lot of traffic coming through there. I don't recall if there's, and I know someone from the chamber here, she might know more than me, but I don't think there's an entrance to the carnival on that side of the park. So there should be no traffic from the parking lot to the park, if that makes sense.
So, so it's on the north side of the bridge then, where we just put the new bioswale.
You mean
Is that where you're gonna have the tent?
No, it'll be in the, so it'll be in Antelope Park, basically directly across from the lumberyard, in the south, I guess it'd be the southeast corner of that parking lot, kind of like in left field of the ball diamond.
Okay.
And so the important thing, I think, why we're doing it that way is at Horton Street?
Yes.
So a huge portion of the chicken dinners is like a drive-through pickup, and so they wanted to utilize Horton Street as that drive-through. So I think it's tucked up in that corner, right?
Yep.
And from a law enforcement perspective, the flow of traffic on Saginaw, that was the best option because people then can turn off and continue through. And so we were aware of that being a possible issue when we looked at that site. And it's the only site that we could really utilize.
And even though we finished the parking lot, we can't utilize it?
I thought it was the curing of the asphalt.
Yeah.
I didn't want to puncture anything into the ground yet. That was from my understanding from Ross, was that it wasn't really cured yet.
Yeah,
It was just
so
good.
like for Nightmare and Nipissing, there's anchors installed in the street, so we can anchor the tents too. And that was the goal, that is the goal for future, lot 9, to put those anchors in, and it takes like 30 days to cure. And then the machinery, and we have trailers and things like that that could damage the asphalt so soon. So this wasn't a good option for this year.
And so Chief, how will this require more officers then? Because it's right near a busy road, we don't have any pedestrian crossing further up, and I'm just wondering
We'll
logistically.
definitely be a presence there, there's no doubt, we always are every year, but the Optimists, they do a fantastic job with their own security. I have a lot of faith in those guys as well, so, I don't foresee it being an issue personally, I mean, you know, obviously anything can happen, but we'll be out in full force, I know they're gonna be out in full force. But I don't really view it as an issue.
And do we have to do anything as a city then to change our social district boundaries?
No, so this is being run through the MLCC special license, not the social district.
One last question. We've always done a resolution or whatever with the Optimist Club for that. Are we planning on doing that?
No, we were just talking about that today, so yes.
Should be coming to you guys in the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Womack?
No, thank you.
We are on to appointments to boards. These are Mayor Haynes, so I will. I'm sorry, Mr. Francis, I'm sorry, I skipped you. I'm sorry.
Nothing tonight, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
The,
I have a question for the attorney. Well, you might be the best person to answer. I was wondering if we could get an update about the billing from Button.
I have nothing on that. I can't respond to that.
We just haven't had anything for all of April, May, and June.
Yeah, I have nothing to do with that, so I can't answer.
Mayor Pro Tem, I also have no knowledge on that, Commissioner Brady.
Okay, thank you. On to appointments, which are Mayor Haynes, and so I will defer these till this next meeting. And then you have your department communications inside. Hopefully everybody looked at those. And we are back to public comments. Again, you have 3 minutes. Please tell us your name, where you're from, and what's on your mind. Anybody? Mr. Cortez.
I just want to follow up to what I said earlier. There are other people in this room too that I'm kind of tired of listening to, and I know that they have the right to speak, and I respect that. However, I think until we can solve this problem in the city that we are perceived to have by outsiders in the community, and probably a lot of people that are hiding behind keyboards in this city, they need to come to the table, and they need to be part of that discussion. There's a reason why I don't go to Metamora or Mayfield Township or Lapeer Township into their meetings or Oregon Township and talk to them about problems they have, and I'm sure they have problems. I don't do that because I don't live there. I'm not saying our voices don't have an opinion or the right to be heard, but what I'm saying is if we fundamentally want to change what we see happening in this city as residents and taxpayers in the city, and if the people who live outside the city want to see something change in the city, then move into the city and buy a house here and pay taxes here and be part of the system and be part of the solution to fundamentally change what we have going on here. But until that happens, we're going to continue to have people coming to this meeting who don't even live here, that are claiming stake to our destiny. And quite honestly, it's our destiny. We are the ones who live here. We are the ones who pay taxes here. Yes, they may use this city. Maybe they have businesses in the city or do business in the city. That's important. But the people who live here need to be the ones standing here. If they have problems with the way the city is being run, they need to be the ones to get out from behind their keyboard, come here and stand up and voice their opinion. Those are the voices that matter. Those are the voices who have full control of this city. I'm not hearing very many of them. Occasionally I do. I see them on social media, but they're not coming here. So that's where I'm coming from. In all fairness to Mr. DeAngelis, there are others in this room that I'm kind of tired of hearing too. It's not just him, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I'm tired of it. we can continue to insult people all day long, myself included, but we're not being part of a true solution to this problem until we're willing to put skin in the game and say, let's fix this problem. Let's quit kicking the can and find some viable solutions. When you have viable solutions, rather than sit here and criticize what's going wrong, then I'll listen.
Thank you. Okay. Jerry?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry. I've lived in this.
Point of order, she needs to address.
Sorry, Jerry.
Okay.
Sorry.
I have lived in this.
One moment. She must be her name and her city. Oh, yes, sorry.
Geraldine Carson. I'm in Lapeer Township. I've been a lifetime member of this city. My father built stores in this city. My family has been here probably well over 100 years in this community. And I think I have a right, even though I live on Myers Road, that I have a right to speak what I need to say in regards. For instance, the marijuana. I smell those marijuana stores that are in the city in my yard almost on a daily basis, and with me having asthma. You've heard this before from me. I come to this town. I have paid taxes in this town. I've worked 30 years at the hospital here and paid city tax in this town, even though I do not live inside the city. I have a right to come here and voice my concerns and my thoughts. And I resent somebody saying that we shouldn't, because I have invested in this. I graduated from school here. I walked from kindergarten till I graduated down the main street of this town on Swingland. And I absolutely am upset that somebody would think that I would not have a say or a right to say something at this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Karen's first.
Karen Pacheco, Metamora, I get it that it's annoying that non-city residents come up here and speak and comment on things, but I did live here for 10 years and I paid income taxes and I paid property taxes through my rent and all of that. And I come because this was brought to my attention and I have certain expertise on the First Amendment issues that I knew were gonna come up immediately when Hing took office. And I saw him conducting meetings and some other things that just not everybody knows about, but I do from experience. And I also wanted to mention that I think there are city residents who are scared to come and speak. Because we have a mayor who, through his Tea Party, his campaign speech at the Tea Party, we know he's here for vengeance. We know he's here to own Womack, right? Because he doesn't like what happened with Womack. And so he's here to own him. And yeah, I'm certainly afraid of vengeance for those folks because things have happened around here. I could be specific, but I don't have time when people come and speak out. So that's another issue. So as I looked through the official copies, not the Mayor Hing copies, but the official copies of these evaluations, I noticed that between McCarthy, Glissman, and Petrie, there's kind of this common thread that a lot of folks don't like how Mr. Womack communicates with the public and responds to you all. I just want to remind you that, not specific to anyone here, but there is a neurotypical and neurodivergent spectrum. There are communication spectrums and how people operate. And I personally would rather have someone who just gets the job done and doesn't emote about everything. I don't need Mr. Womack to be warm and fuzzy. It's actually Mr. Hing's job to be the social one. And from what I heard, he didn't speak at America 250, by the way.
You have to be invited.
Huh?
You have to be invited.
Well, okay. But, it would have been his job to be there and be warm and fuzzy and care about the emotional aspects. I just want somebody to get things done. And that's, Mr. Womack has. Anytime I brought him something, he just gets things done. But what I I was actually listening to Miss Petrie's 10-minute comment at the end of the last regular meeting, June 15th. There was an awful lot of emoting in there. And there's a lot of emoting in a lot of these comments and through a lot of these meetings now that didn't used to be. I would rather just see us get jobs done and yes, bring up points and that kind of thing. But we hear a lot of emoting, a lot of religious emoting, a lot of talk about family and emotions about that. And so that may be a difference here. Some people see it as a good thing to be that way, and different workplaces are different about those types of things. But Ms. Petrie, I found some of your comments to be just really inappropriate. You compared the disciplining of 2 commissioners to your children. These are adult grown men with jobs and education, and you were comparing it to disciplining your children. I think you were way off psychologically and what you think is normal. And you think Jeremy Hing is normal and we should all follow him, but these 2 deserve discipline. It's really, really off.
Thank you. Have a good night. Anybody else?
Mindy Schwab, citizen of Lapeer. I'm concerned about the silencing of Mr. Atwood and Mr. Brady. And I, for one, would have liked to have heard the point that you were trying to put on the agenda. I also noticed, and I don't think this was intentional, but you had your hand up during the end of the Optimist discussion. You sat there quite patiently waiting and you didn't turn your head. I know you missed it. I don't think that was intentional, but I am concerned about the silencing of 2 board members. And so, Josh, I hope you get a chance to say what you need to say. He is the longest serving commissioner. He deserves some respect. He's been here the longest. He holds a statewide office. He needs some respect. Mr. Brady, you also deserve respect. So I really hope that you 2 get it, and I think Mr. Womack does as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. DeAngelis.
In the city for over a year, John DeAngelis, Metamora Township.
The gentleman was out of order during public comment time previously, and he shouldn't be allowed to speak during.
I'm not gonna censor anybody and let them speak.
Madam Mayor, our rules and procedures state that if someone is out of order.
I'm the presiding officer and I didn't feel anybody was out of order, so you probably should.
That's why I'm raising a point of order to you. That's why I'm raising a point of order to you now.
Okay, thank you.
You failed to rule on, you failed to cite that he was out of order during public comment time before he
I
spoke.
don't know who you're referring to.
Mr. DeAngelis spoke out during someone else's public comment time. He disrupted the meeting. He should not be granted an opportunity to speak a second time at the meeting per our rules and procedures.
Thank you. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it, so.
So are you ruling on my point of order?
Not well taken or whatever. I'm not going to censor him. I'm going to let him speak. Because we've heard enough about censoring people when we don't agree with them. And so I didn't hear anybody speak out other than when Ms. Carson turned her head. So I'm the presiding officer. I'm gonna get this meeting done with.
Madam
What can I do
Mayor,
for you, Mr.
I appeal your ruling.
Okay. What do you want? What's your point of order?
Well, it needs to be seconded. Otherwise, I'm just one person.
Anybody want to second that? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Come on.
We ready?
Yes.
Okay. John DeAngelis, Metamora Township. I lived in the city for a little over a year when I was building my lake house, and I'm not moving back unless you guys can make a lake here, then I would consider it. But I come to the city all the time. I see you guys here all the time. I use the city's restaurants and stores, so I think I should have an opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Sorry. What's next?
Ken Kopnick, I know you'll be glad when I go away. My political participation started out when I was 16. My township sent a deputy to escort me to a special meeting about a constable that we had hired. By the time the meeting was over, we didn't have a constable anymore. I go to county meetings, I go to my own meetings in my township, I go to library board meetings, I go to other township meetings to support my friends and people that reside in those townships. More than once, I have got to the point I have been fed up and said that I'm going to quit coming to meetings because I'm tired of it falling on deaf ears. When I do that, I have a rash of people stopping me in stores and parking lots, asking me not to give up because they don't have the schedule to come to the meetings. It's a sad, sad thing when we're told not to participate in what everybody fought for us to have. Celebrate your 250.
Thank you. Sure.
Cheryl Barnett, Arcadia Township, lifelong Lapeer County resident. I've been trying to learn more about the process that allowed Brookwood North Development Plan to go all the way to the commission agenda for vote without being complete. What I'm most concerned about was the mention of a 30-year tax capture, which would have sent or could send hundreds of thousands of dollars back to the builder. I was wondering if at the end of the meeting, someone would be able to explain why this seemed like a good idea, especially in light of the fact that we have a decreasing city tax base. And it has even brought about the necessity to transfer funds from a special fund to the general fund in order to cover a budget shortfall. And I was just wondering how this all came about, especially that tax capture thing. For that length of time, that's very concerning. It's a significant amount of money that the city really needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Womack, could you address that after the meeting if she has questions, please?
If she would like to, yes, I will speak to her.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, I didn't quite get a chance to finish what I was saying, so.
Would you give us your name?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Heidi Helfer, Lapeer.
Is it Helper?
Helfer, H-E-L-F as in Frank, E-R.
Thank you.
So I was talking about hypocrisy and the idea of theatrics and how they seem to kind of be going hand in hand here. And so I was listing some different examples that I'd seen from the board where these theatrics had been happening, and sometimes also in a hypocritical fashion. And one of the ones I didn't get to, which I thought was really important, is in terms of theatrics, was the censuring of Mr. Atwood and Mr. Brady. And this was, I felt like that was like, a show that was being put on. You kept telling them it wasn't something that was going to be punitive and it wouldn't be on their records. And yet you had to make this show of punishing them for something. Again, and you didn't even allow them to speak. I mean, that was appalling. It just, I don't know. To me, it was just like an attempt to demonstrate your power over the three, or over the two, right? And then also, this was sort of mentioned already, but the posting of Mr. Womack's evaluations on Mr. Haynes' website. Not only is this unethical, but it's a show of trying to establish dominance over someone by whom he is clearly intimidated. So it seems he did this out of fear, not out of transparency, which is what he claimed. So I just want to say, for anyone who wants to condemn the theatrics of others, I'd suggest you first make sure you and those you are siding with aren't guilty of this very activity, especially because hypocrisy is generally considered a sin.
Anyone else? Okay, then move on. We are to departmental communications. Like I said, they're in there. Please look them over and refer to your department heads for any questions you might have. And then we are to closing comments. Mr. Atwood.
Yeah.
the reason I had my hand raised was I felt like under city manager report, we did not give the city manager general consensus or kind of direction for the RFP for the city attorney services. I don't know if you needed it or you got the general idea, but I don't think there was general consensus on any direction for that.
If I could respond and just say what my understanding is, maybe that would clarify.
Yes.
So my current understanding is that Commissioner McCarthy is still seeking records regarding various billing details from both Mr. Falco, Fletcher Falco, but also our previous law firm. And after she is satisfied with that information, which we can provide to the full board, I guess Ms. McCarthy, you and I will be communicating regarding that, and then we can bring it back to the board when we're satisfied.
And not just, I just wanna get the documents and look at them so that we're comparatively looking at what we should be looking at, scope, services, et cetera. And I do wanna publish that all to the city commission and the board, the dais up here, so that you have the exact same information. I'm just the one who's chasing it down, that's all. And then at that point, there's a decision of what to do with the form.
Second, I didn't mean to leave Mr. Brady hanging with his opposing the ruling of the chair. I just, ultimately, I know it's gonna be turned down anyway, so I don't even bother with that. Item G4 was just one of the documents on my corrective actions had timestamps in the actual document, but it did not have the full transcript from the April 6th meeting, which is my toe-to-toe comment. There's a lot in there that is in the agenda. So if the public would like to see what I wrote in the full transcript, it's in there.
Excuse me.
The Exhibit B also, that full transcript kind of was in there in my corrective action. I'd just like to point out my resolution was kind of more geared toward being nothing highlighted, just the full context as is. Except for the top where I did raise a point of order during that dialogue. I also requested to make a motion during that dialogue. So that's in there as well. Also, I asked during the planning commission meeting about what was happening with the fulfilling or filling Mr. Womack's seat on the planning commission. I have not received anything, and that was a month ago. There's verbiage in the ordinance that says shall. Shall is a pretty big word. There's shall fill that spot. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but so I'm just wondering what the game plan is for that, if there is any, or if we need to kind of revisit that and figure out that board, because it is a 9-person board, if I'm correct, not an 8. It would puts that at risk of a tie. So I'd like to see that fixed in the near future.
Excuse me, is that directed to me or the audience, or I'm not sure?
That's
I
my
can't-
comment.
Okay, thanks. Straight.
Thank you for the opportunity. I have no comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Petrie. I am just going to reflect on some of the better things that have happened in the city. I know we have meetings that seem very contentious and a lot of you are very unhappy here. However, we just had a terrific month this past month, June and beginning of July here in Lapeer. I want to point out that we had almost 25 people who volunteered to be on the America 250 committee. That was wonderful. We started last January putting out that we were looking for people who were interested in helping with the city, and we had 25. On occasion, you get somebody said, why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that? And so I say, why didn't you join us? Because you can't always just point the finger at a certain area where you were unhappy. I know with the Chamber of Commerce, some people were unhappy that our fireworks are going to be on the 11th. That has nothing to do with anybody sitting up here or the city. It has everything to do with the Chamber of Commerce. Now, you got to remember, the 4th of July is very competitive and very expensive for fireworks. I think that the Chamber did the very best they could with the funds they had. If more people came forward and donated money, maybe we could have had them on the 4th. I'm actually looking forward to July 11th. I can see them from my front porch, and so I can't wait for that to happen. So I hope you all get out and see the fireworks on the 11th, and for Karen back there, the following day, get up early and go clean the park with her. I know that a lot of people who are actually sitting in the audience right now have done that for the past 2 years, as I have with my husband, Rick. Regarding June 20th, I was out almost all day, so I saw a lot of you out there. My husband was dressed as George Washington, and lots of little kids came. They wanted their picture just like Santa Claus, only with George. Those pictures the parents took will be something they will remember for a long time, and those children in 50 years can point to those pictures and point back and say, I saw George Washington. So it was a fun day, but I do want to do a shout out to Jill Lyons. Jill Lyons is phenomenal, and she did such a great job on June 20th. She deserves a standing ovation from all of us. She's really a hard worker, but a quiet woman. And so a lot of people don't realize that behind the scenes, she is really a force. And she made June 20th fabulous, and all the folks that went to that concert absolutely enjoyed it. So I want to just say, a lot of you always said, lovely Lapeer. Lapeer is lovely. What happens in this room isn't what's happening outside. There's lots of folks out there who get along, love the city, and do whatever they can for the city. And so I want you to go out and enjoy the 4th of July all over again on the 11th. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say 2 really positive things. When we had the heavy rains, a branch came down right next to my house on my neighbor's yard. It was hanging over the street. We had to kind of climb over people's yards to get our cars out. And, but we had just come back from up north for the 4th of July weekend. And this morning, lo and behold, the city staff had already taken that tree away. So I wanted to tell people that things do get done very quickly. The second thing is, I just want to remind people, when everybody was frustrated about that parking lot 9, how quickly our city got that parking lot back active. I parked in it today when I went to the Thai restaurant for lunch. So, and I did call him one day, I can't remember, and I was like, are we allowed to park in there? Because I see like 20 cars. And he's like, yeah. So they got it done really quick. They turned it around, and that's all kudos to our city staff here and how well they work. One of the young ladies in the back who's an artist, and I don't remember you coming to us, and I apologize, maybe I wasn't on the board at that time, but you mentioned seeing all the horrible TikTok videos. And so I just want to take a moment to talk about how you are going to notice that there's many of us on the city commission that we do not respond, we do not post back, we do not get on Facebook and social media. That is intentional. So those things are going to continue to happen. We do not control the vertical and the horizontal. That is certain people's outlook and their perception, and they're allowed to have that. And we're allowed to not respond to it. It doesn't make it better. When we don't respond, I can only apologize because they're filled with a lot of vitriol. Some of them are kind of ugly. Some of them make us look kind of good. Those avatars maybe don't show all the wrinkles. or the fat. So, you gotta take your wins where you can find them, because, you know, there's some hard hits coming out there. And sometimes I went into a business downtown this week, and someone said to me, why don't you speak back? Why aren't you saying anything? Why are people on this commission sitting there and just basically getting kicked in the chops every single week by many of you here in this room or on social media? I can only speak my truth. I can't speak for anybody else up here, so I'm going to take it, and you're gonna have to just, you know, the blowback will be there. I don't personally speak out because I feel that I am contractually silenced to do so. Silenced by contracts that may have been in place prior to me coming onto this commission, and contracts that we have got into for legal services since I've been on this board. And so, for whatever reason, I don't feel that I can freely speak. I will refuse to participate in all of the chaos that is created in these meetings to try to pierce the veil of those issues, because I refuse to in any way create a negative or hostile work environment for any city employee within the municipality. I think it's important to understand that. That's my perception. Other people have their own reasons. I also want to talk about, because we constantly hear, we need to get to business. You're not doing the business. The lights are on, the bills are paid. Every single approved agenda item is processed every single meeting for the last 7 months, except the last meeting, we took one item, which was a Teamsters contract, and we pushed it to a special meeting. We didn't want the Teamsters to have to wait all night. We didn't want to be here all night. Our meetings had a tendency to take a long time. That was dealt with within 1 week's turnaround. So business is getting done, but I don't think you're always aware of the additional business that gets done by all the city commissioners here. I mean, Commissioner Brady has changed my mind on issues, and I've gone across the aisle to vote on things that I promised I would never vote on, but he brought up good points, and I voted with him. I have voted with Commissioner Glissman the very first time that we would not bring any notice to the minutes for Mr. Atwood. We crossed the line and we voted, no, we're not gonna do anything. But then things continue to happen, so I felt I had to vote the next time it came up in front of me. You don't have to agree with me, that's just how I felt. But the first time I said no. I mean, I wasn't just gung-ho from the first moment. Let's talk about some other things though that we've done. We had a 425 agreement with Mayfield. The front page of the package said it was gonna be for 30 years, but through Commissioner Glissman, and she's an avid reader, she looks at everything, she found that there was a typo error for 50 years. And so Commissioner Petrie, I apologize, she found it, it wasn't Glissman, it was Petrie. She's an avid reader and she finds all the mistakes. It was a difference between a contract for 30 years and 50 years, it was a typo, that could have cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars had it gone through at 50. When we approved it then, Mayfield was not interested in the 30-year 425 agreement. When we were doing outdoor signage, we had to go through, based on some court law that came through, 2019, maybe 2018, Gilbert versus something, and we had to change the intent of our outdoor advertising. The intent used to be limitations on size, scope, placement, and duration. It was now changed due to the law, due to that Gilbert versus whatever, to be homogenized or genericized content. When Commissioner Petrie and I met with Mr. Womack, it became very clear through questionings and his discussion with us, there was a Mack truck size hole in the back of that advertising signage ordinance that allowed lewd and lascivious content freely to come into our signage. And so I went away, I researched, I found Miller versus California, I passed that on to Mr. Francis and Mr. Womack, and we sent that back to our engineering services, our planning commission, etc., to revise that to capture the Miller 3-point test. That's doing city business. It's not something that you can see, it's not something you can measure, but we are out there and we are, all of us here, maintaining our stewardship to the city. At the recent Brookwood North, it came through the planning commission with all the boxes checked. The mayor, someone from the zoning commission, and others went through with a fine-tooth comb And if I remember correctly, I'm speaking ad lib here, just, there were about 10 different issues they found. We did not deny the housing. I want 112 houses to come. What we said is, we have ordinances and processes in place and they have to be followed. Please go back, address these issues, come back to us. We're eager to hear what solutions you could bring within the boundaries of what we have at the city. If you can't do within those boundaries, then you ask for a variance. So that's going to city business, making sure that we're oversight. This happens over and over again. Let's talk about the 12-month moratorium on data centers and large energy projects. I came back from CapCon 26th March, and we were stuck the second day listening to 4 speakers that we will never get those 1.5 to 2 hours back again. A little painful. They talked about data centers and energy projects, and basically, and I might be wrong, I'm going to paraphrase it. As a municipality and as commissioners and mayors, you should just approve it because it's the right thing to do. I came back, I wrote a series of emails, a lot of emails. Poor Mr. Womack had to deal with my emails. I sent him a lot of links to all different types of energy projects and this and that at the state. Basically, our governor and Lansing have provided tax abatements and money incentives for data centers, not to the municipalities. And in pre-existing municipalities that had them, your utility rates, again, stewardship for the citizens, went up astronomically for upgrading the grid to accept them and for shared usage once they were within the municipalities. And so Mr. Womack, again, we're walking across the board here. We're working, we're crossing over the aisles. He suggested a moratorium and we did do that. We are, I believe, the only community in Bear County that did it. And I am now talking with the county commissioners to see if they will put it in at a county level for at least 1 year, if not 2 years. I just went to the Democratic Party 2 Thursdays ago. They put on a really nice presentation about data centers from the Sierra Club. I learned a lot of things there. I mean, it isn't about them or us, it's about working for the city. So when I hear repeatedly, we are not getting city business done, we are. We're filling out the agendas. It might take a long time. We're getting through them. And there's additional work on the backside that you may not see, you may not hear about. Nobody's up here crowing, but each and every one of these people here work really hard to do business that maybe is not always visible. And I just hope you'll have patience with us and you'll understand that it's a little rough. I get it. But we all have the best intents up here to do the best we can for the city. The only other thing I'd like to mention is that this Thursday at, I believe, 9 o'clock, and I have the driest mouth from talking, I apologize. The county commissioners at the historic courthouse will be doing a small ceremony about the historic courthouse. It is open to the public. I believe it's in the county's down in the lower courthouse. Let me just read it so I'm saying the right thing. July 9th, County Commissioners meeting at the historic courthouse, I should know that. At the historic courthouse at 9 a.m., the county commissioners will be presenting a plaque to commemorate America 250 and the 1.25 million in ARPA funds allocated for that restoration of that courthouse. So you're all invited. It's absolutely free. Please join us. I want to thank you all for being patient and for your understanding and coming to share your views and your thoughts and your ideas. And travel safe tonight on your way home. Thank you.
Mr. Womack.
Thank you. Speaking of AI centers, I've seen some videos recently where I was Shrek, I was Wesley from The Princess Bride, and I was a cowboy. My wife especially liked the cowboy one. Pretty funny stuff. So it's July 6th. So Ms. Glissman, the last week is kind of nerdy for Civil War buffs. Gettysburg, of course, was July 1st through the 3rd in 1863, and then the Battle of Vicksburg was concluded on July 4th of 1863. Now, July 4th also happens to be the single number 1 day of the year with the most number of former presidents who died. I thought that was interesting. For our friend Karen in the back, fireworks cleanup. I will be out there this year, so come say hi to me. I've also talked to the school district and the county. They both agreed to also hold off on their mowing and to pass the information along to their staff. And then also, Ms. Glissman, I've got 2 for you today. It was passed along to me that as part of the Park and Pine Street project, that we planted 8 elm trees. And the specific type of elm tree was the American elm tree.
Amen.
And just to follow up on that, so Ms. Glissman asked me today if we could find an oak tree to plant in this community that would be around for, what did you say, 500 years?
Yes.
It's a little optimistic, but we're gonna look for one, and I just thought that was a great idea, so thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you. We've got plenty of land, we're working on those too.
I wasn't gonna say it. Karen, lilacs.
Lilacs were mentioned.
I think you did that on purpose.
I did. I said it and then I got a bingo. I'm almost like a straight line. You're gonna owe me a coffee.
I want to thank you for attending. Thank you for your patience, Ramona. Thank you for your help, Mr. Francis. Thank you for your help when you needed it. I wanted just to remind everybody that our City of Lapeer rules and procedures are on our website. Feel free to read through those. That might help you have a little clearer picture of what we're doing, why we're doing it, who can talk, who can't talk, that kind of thing. I, for one, was raised outside the city, but my family were business owners in the city, so I spent a lot of my childhood in the city. So I love when people come from surrounding areas and give us their opinions, because I know they come here and use it. And I also agree that they don't vote, and I wish that more people that voted would come and share their, they don't vote in the city, I should say, wish they'd come and share their opinion here with us and not behind a keyboard. Many people, there's a lot out there, I really don't get into it because so much of it is half information, wrong information, exaggerated information. Some people think that they have a finger on the pulse of everything that's happening here, and I'm just gonna tell you that very few do. So I think you should be careful about what you read. Just because it's in writing or on social media does not make it always true. I too wish people would come out from behind their keyboard. And I know that people get nervous to speak, but if you wanna make a change, if you wanna make a good difference, and I'm gonna stress good difference, come on to our meetings and tell us what, not that you hate the person, because that doesn't get anybody anywhere, not that you hate their methods. Let's talk about policy. Let's talk about what we are voting down that people are just livid over, because that's where we can make a change, policy. You know, how we're gonna vote. Now, I'm just gonna tell you, many of you out there, just because I've been coming for about 5 years now, many of you out there have only been coming since November. Which is, okay, glad you're here, but you need to go back and see what's been happening in our city for much longer than just since November. There's quite a history there. If anybody cares to look into it, there's people to ask. I sat on this board since November of 23, and I was told by one of the commissioners, "Do you just love to vote no?" No, I don't love to vote no, but I do have my own mind, I have my own opinion. I was elected to be checks and balances. I am not a yes person, I'm always a, what about this, what about this, what about this, how about that? I'm not ashamed that I ask questions. It helps me form a educated decision, because it's not my money. It is not my money. I am spending your money, the taxpayers here. So I ask a lot of questions. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm tell you learn. But I need you to know that I voted by myself. Occasionally, Ms. Glissman voted with me. But I voted by myself a lot. I will live with that. The history will show why I voted that way or how I voted. I'm okay with that because I vote my conscience. My identity isn't this. This is not my identity. It's something that it's a task that I've been given for the term of 4 years, and I was taught that when you're gonna do something, do it the best of your ability, which I know that I'm doing the best of my ability. It doesn't feel good to be outvoted. I went home many nights frustrated, like, what? Oh my gosh, I voted by myself again. Sometimes there were tears. because I was so frustrated, because I have, other things in my life that are so important to me. And, so there were a lot of frustrating, times where I was outvoted. There were 3 people that voted together all the time. Mr. Brady, Mr. Atwood, and Ms. Swindoll very rarely broke. They mostly always voted together. And so I would call that a voter block. Not really, it's not a block. It's 3 people that voted together. It's the majority. So, now the majority, and not always the majority, sometimes it's a full consensus. I don't think that we, I'm just correcting somebody in the audience, we did not censure Mr. Brady and Mr. Atwood. We included something in the record regarding their behavior, just so that it was in the record. It was not punitive, it didn't go on their record, so to speak. It was not a punishment. We included it because we're trying to get through these meetings with decorum. I mean, there's nothing wrong with raising our standards to be high standards and good standards. I don't think it's funny to be a sitcom. I don't think the memes are funny at all. I think that the people that are putting the memes up there about our entire city, not just the city commission, the person that is putting things up there that are very negative about our city, that they're not helping our city. They don't live in our city anymore, and they don't care about our city. I love this community, and I love the people in it, and I am doing this for that reason, and for that reason only. My history, my roots are here. I love the community. I don't censure people, so I'm apologizing to Mr. Atwood and Mr. Brady. If I missed your hand up, please speak up. I'll need to hear that. And Mr. Brady, I don't know what you're referring to still of what you were point of ordering about the public comments, but we've gotten a lot of blowback about censoring people and not letting them say what they wanted. So if you didn't notice, I let everybody say whatever they wanted because I can't control what you say. I only can control how I feel and what I hear and what I let fall off my back. So again, thank you for your patience, thank you for coming, thank you for caring. Is it Anya or? Yeah, thank you for your art. I've seen some of it and thank you for your idea for what we had. I'm still working on that, just so you know. Again, thank you for coming. Thank you for your patience. God bless all of you. Adjourned. Woo-hoo.